Guys, welcome back. And not the usual video, not the usual question at all. And basically, it is plastering related, but it's not the usual plastering type of question. Most questions on the channel are, about plaster, about tools, about how to do things. Also, sometimes just general construction questions like, how did you get on with that, or what way did it work down the line? Such as we mixing up bits of cement, or just scraping off tiles. Silly little videos, but very very helpful videos. So not really that silly. So this one, it is slightly plastering related, but it's more about us, it's more about the body. And the question was basically about plastering and plastering related injuries. So it's going to be kind of hard for me to answer. And that's because I can only really go on what's happened to me and what's happened to people I've worked with or known, or maybe maybe even some internet stories that I've read, or sort of have some what I would call friends online. So I can only really go on the things that I know. Obviously, plastering is a very very physical job, so you're going to get wear and tear, and it's kind of like a vehicle if you think about it. Stuff that's covered under warranty, but things that is wear and tear isn't. So it's kind of thinking along the lines, stuff like that. So personally, and I hope I haven't touch wood, as they say. I haven't been too bad with injuries, and again, plastering and your own social life, sometimes the injuries from that part of the life cross into your work life, and I'll touch on that quickly before I go into other things. So basically, when I was younger, I used to play football and used to do a bit of boxing. And the injury I got from, I think it was from boxing, or maybe an overhead kick I did before on tarmac, and I think it chipped this bone, and there's still a divot in it. So, but I don't know if that's what caused this injury. So basically, in boxing, you tend to block. You put your hands on your head and you block, so that will stop. It'll stop. But I just remember one time this elbow, this ligament got awful pain in it, and I had to take a couple of weeks off work. Probably actually just a week off work, because holding the hawk was just agony, absolute agony. And for years that followed me. Again, there may have been plastering, doing the boxing training and stuff that made this. I just maybe too much strain on one arm. Because obviously that would be my left hand would have been the most used boxing hand. But yes, this ligament, absolute agony. So that's where I'm touching in wear and tear, social life and the work life, the crossover. Obviously, when you have a family, football to me should just go out the window unless you've got a promising career. Boxing, unless you're going to get a money fight, it should go out the window, because if you have family, you got to think about your family. You got to think about the income, how you're going to feed them, how you're going to feed yourself. You need to look after yourself to be able to look after them. And this is where we're going with this. This question is it's like a tree, it's one question, here's the base, and it just branches out into many, many things. So I hope you are very interested in this, and I hope you are going to add to this, guys, in the comments. I want to hear your injuries. I want to hear what you think of plastering, what do you think it's going to do to your body down the line, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. I know plasters, guys, that are in their 60s, 5-foot guys, one's still on site, and then obviously one's doing slightly later work, more finesse, or more say in the fibrous thing, film work. Don't want to go on about that too much. But yeah, 5-foot guys, slightly older, obviously to me, they've obviously looked after themselves. And funny, we were working, doing arches, and one of them said, you need to get off the stilts. So he contributes plastering with stilts to back injuries. And I did have one of my main boss for me coming into plastering, Sparky. He did get his hips replaced, and he was quite young when he did it. And I think again, he used to play football and he used to box and he did plastering. You can see this probably with a lot of youth plasterers out there too. He's probably very active people, ADHD, just whatever you want to call it, just active to me. And again, that's the kind of person that plastering's going to attract, because it's a very active man. He's going to be running around here, plastering this wall, plastering that, getting the straight edge, getting the hop up, very physical, very demanding, very active. So it probably is drawn in the type of people that are have sports backgrounds. So he blamed the stilts on his hip injuries, and he blamed boxing, and he blamed football. So you can see how this big mix of crossover happens. Now, if you work in an office and you're just watching this because you're enjoying these content, these videos, you're enjoying listening to me, then tell me about your injuries too and what way that works in an office. Can you get away with having a sore knee in an office more than maybe a builder or a plasterer? And again, guys, other tradesmen, you're more than welcome to say what your thoughts. But plastering and plastering related injuries. So we've already got the crossover with social life, people out drinking, falling, hurting themselves, going to work. Again, I have a bit of an injury here, and I can't even blame plastering, and I can't blame boxing either. Believe it or not, it's a knuckle injury, and then again I have to crack it like that to relieve the stress in it. Apparently it's called trigger finger, and I'm not 100% sure. It's just what I had to go one time. I couldn't put my socks on, and I had to go to see a doctor, and the doctor said it was trigger fingers, something to do with ligaments here and some kind of sleeve ligament that was locking up basically, and the reason I was cracking it was leaving me was because I was relieving the pressure on it. But basically that happened playing football. I was trying to get fit again, and I was playing 6-a-sides with another plastering mate, big Egypt. If he's watching this, he is a big Egypt. But anyway, I jumped in the nets because I was getting tired. I thought, I'll go in nets for 5 minutes. Funny how you get older, you want to do nets all of a sudden, but when you're a kid, nobody wants to do nets. But yeah, jumped in the nets to get a bit of a breather, and this fella was in the other team who apparently was going to play for Man United, had scout trials for Man United, and he was going to go for it. So he was probably only 18 at the time, I was a bit older, and he hit a shot. Not much further than this, and in my mind it was like, I'll push it away. And I wish I'd have stopped with my first thought of pushing it away, but I changed my mind, and this is, you change your mind split seconds in sport, and I decided I'll punch it because it'll go further and I'll clear the danger. But I only got my hand closed about that much, and what happened was it crunched around, and I felt the whole elbow moving, the bones and all, and I had a kitchen on, so I just wrapped it up the next day, and I went and worked again like an absolute fool for other people, just being a fool. Maybe you should have just took days off, but because it was a kitchen and the people ripped their kitchen out and stuff, and there was actually an extension and stuff, that I felt like I was going to let them down majorly if I didn't get it plastered. So everything kept going good for them. There's actually a video with me cutting out the brick, and my hands all bandaged up, and the fingers actually look purple. But basically that injury came from that. Again, maybe boxing didn't help either, but it did heal. But I always think that that's where that came from. But again, it could also be the trowel. Sometimes I push this finger out to the trowel and I put the finger up like this with a float, and so maybe it's wear and tear on that too. Again, to me that's the crossover of your enjoyable life to your work life. And again, some of you, like myself, probably enjoy plastering as well. I know the guys that are getting older, they actually do enjoy it. I think they're a bit like me. They love seeing it all come together. Nice fresh blank canvas you've made, or look at all this detail. Look at all this detail done, cornice, ceiling roses, trims, paneling. So there's can be lots of enjoyment with work too, guys. And I hope if you're not enjoying it, you can find enjoyment in it, or you can find something to go and enjoy. Maybe it's just not for you. So that's your hands. You're going to get injured hands. You're going to get minor injuries. You're going to get cuts. You're going to get burns. Try to wear gloves. Try your best to wear gloves. Try and protect your hands, because you've only got 2. You do have 10 fingers or 8 fingers and 2 thumbs. Try and protect them, guys. I've broke this finger before. Again, that was football. Me and a fella didn't. It got broke. Just put it that way. The baby finger got broke. So like cracked right along there. And believe it or not, guys, your baby finger. I know a lot of weird information. Your baby finger contributes to about 75% of your grip strength of that arm. 75% is this little baby finger, right? And I remember learning that after I broke this, because I remember I broke it, and we were doing a big house up there, not just up the road from here, big K-Rain job, and the boss phoned me, says, I need you to come in. We're under pressure, I need to get this done, get on to the next job. So I came in, had to be splint on it, taped up. It was still sore, just a touch, but you can't really do much for a broken finger. So it was taped up like that, and I was troweling, I was holding the trowel like that, and I can tell you now, that was very, very hard to get pressure in, and it was really tearing on the arm and stuff. Again, that's another injury that was nothing to do with plastering. Got injured, and like I say, this, as you get older, you might realise this. Some of you young guys watching this, you might realise this yourselves. You may think sports isn't paying the bills. Unfortunately, for just the average Joe like me, like you, sports ain't gonna pay the bills. So you gotta maybe put your job above them, put your work life above your sports life, or any activities that might result in you. Like that was hard work, and I wasn't getting paid a lot. I was an apprentice. Again, I enjoyed it. Enjoyed the people I was working with. They're all brilliant fellas, but that was hard. And years later, I learned why it was so hard, because your baby finger is 75% of your grip strength. So think about that, guys. All the fingers are very important, and they actually all do slightly different jobs. And grip's very important for a plasterer. Plasterboard, straight edge, tools, hammer, trowels, floats, mixer. So protect your hands. You will get into. I've had cuts, all of them, and cuts can lead to worse things too, guys. So make sure you're looking after yourselves that way. So let's talk about the back. And I'll talk about a mate of mine, Peter, who hurt his back very bad before. But the back, my uncle told me, another big Egypt, told me, don't do bricklaying because you'll get a sore back. And as you know on this channel, do me bits and pieces of bricklaying. Not a bricklayer, I'm a plasterer, but I can block up a window, block up a door, I can do bits and pieces. I'm not going to build a garden wall unless I'm willing to scratch it out and plaster. Spend extra time plastering, because my building wouldn't be as tidy as a bricklayer. But he said, don't do bricklaying because you'll hurt your back getting up and down, and you'll hurt, because you're tall, you'll hurt your back, he said. And 6 months into plastering, thought he was just taking the absolute mick, taking it out of me, because I was getting a sore back from plastering ceilings, carrying buckets, filling up boards, pushing wheelbars, shoveling out of a tub. Shoveling out of a tub is very sore to back, guys. Shoveling floor screed, I don't find it as bad, but pushing a wheelbar all day will be sore to back. Floor screed. Every time I do a big floor screeding job, and I'm looking around this house now and I'm thinking, I have all this to do. Every time I do a floor screeding job, 2 weeks later, I get sciatic nerve goes, and my back pains. I can't put that to any sports because I don't remember too much. I hurt my neck before playing football, or somebody did a bad tackle. So screeding is not good for your back. Up and down, up and down. It's not good for your hips, not good for your knees, not good for your back. I tend to get it very sore from here, and it shoots down. Sciatic nerve, guys, goes into your backside, and kind of into your into your hamstring a bit. But mine's is mostly, the pain I get is like, it's like somebody's like, I can't even explain it. It's almost like there's a bubble inside between something and it's expanding and splitting open and the pain's going a wee bit down, but mostly mine's is across. And every time I do a floor job, nearly it happens, possibly even 2 weeks later. And you talk to older people in trades and stuff, and they say, no, you heard that previous, because I'd said, oh, I've had an easy week, I've just been patching, I just did 1 or 2 walls, and I was off 3 days, and all, and then my back hurt. So the wiser people tell me, you didn't hurt it doing that simple wee task, sneezing, brushing the floor, lifting. You didn't hurt it then, you hurt it previous, you hurt it weeks ago, and it's just went now. So your back, you're going to get, probably are going to get sore backs from plastering, guys, and you're going to get sore elbows. Again, trying to do things to make myself a bit maybe fitter and healthier, to try and stop. But that injury that I had at one time was raising all the way up into my shoulder. It was almost like it was sore in my hand, so it was compensating elsewhere, and other muscles were doing actual work to sort of support a finger, I don't know, or support a wrist. And I had to do a couple of bits of got like a physio massage a couple of weeks in a row, and it actually put me right. And then I fell into doing a wee bit of later work, working on a movie, some plastering film set. So it was a wee bit later for me, and it helped me heal and recover, which is good. And again, guys, I've been on site now and I've been plastering away like crazy, absolute crazy. I don't think I've ever went harder or faster, and they have such still brilliant work. Honestly, we've left some very, very tidy, brilliant jobs, and guys are working with very hard workers too. But that's sort of the injuries that I can think of. I was talking about it back, and again, now obviously trips and falls is the main cause of injuries, and I think deaths on building sites, guys. And the mate Peter, he went through a plank on a site, and I swear these planks and scaffold looked absolutely the best I have ever seen. And he came down through that and landed on a bar below and broke his back, his ribs and his shoulder. And I mean, only from, his feet would only been here. He fell from that, took a bad landing and hurt himself really badly. Thankfully he's actually back plastering. Haven't talked to him for a while. Again, Peter, if you're watching this, I hope you're still skimming away and doing well. Hopefully your back's 100% million times better than it ever was. But guys, so you need to look after yourselves, because although that's not a wear and tear thing, you can't fall. You could, technically if I fall, my head's hitting off 6 foot. You don't fall from you're not, just because your feet are on the ground, your head's not, and your body's not. So every time you go up a foot, up a hop, up another, up a ladder, every time you go up a foot, your life's in more risk, believe it or not. And that's how serious a fall is. Now, obviously, I hope all you guys never ever experience anything bad, myself included. But wear and tear, yes, at my age now, I'm still very young, I'm only 16, and I still get, a lot of people think I'm 16, believe it or not. I think I only started plastering 2 days ago. But I do feel wear and tear, guys. Again, from football, I had a really bad ankle break. Somebody decided to break my ankle, but I can't complain too much because I was trying to kick him as well. He just came out far better, and that resulted in me not being able to run for about a year. I think I was on crutches for 6 months. Very, very bad break. Again, I was very young at the time, but now that was sports related. But I still feel the pains at times now, especially in winter. I can almost feel where the bone sort of gets sore and the ligaments and all. And I don't think I ever did the proper training after it to really make the ligaments better. Again, that's wear and tear, but you could just as easy hurt yourself stepping off a hop up, a crate, and do damage, and then never you'll always feel that in work. I don't care what anybody says. A break's stronger. Possibly that bit, yes, but everything else around it, I don't think it recovers as good. Now, again, that's social life crossing into plastering again. But wear and tear, you're gonna get blisters. You know, your hand. I've got blisters here from that hawk. That elbow, was it just plastering or was it boxing and football? But I do know the pointsman hawk has helped. I don't ever really get any pains in that muscle ligament since I've used that pointsman hawk, which to me is brilliant. And I'll never go back to a Marshalltown hawk or an Abbey's hawk again. I'll always stick with them pointsman. And I'm so glad that they, use the channel to show that, because that has helped me. Superflex trowels, guys, I want to touch on them too. Refina, so glad they announced that they sent, and right now loads of channels, loads of companies have sent their tools, but the Superflexes, I'm so glad they're invented too, because they definitely have, they've definitely took a lot of strain out of the elbows. And it's mad to think, because all you use that for is the last trowel, but you still put a lot of effort in that last trowel. Just as it's setting, just as it's really stiffened up, firmed up, that to me that's when I use it. I see a lot of people coating on and thinking, I personally like to use it as it's setting, and to me that flex helps get it cut. Speed skims, again, can help you flatten a ceiling. Even if you just want to use it flattening, it can help you flatten it in a bit quicker. So to me, the less time you've got a trowel in your hand and the less time you're pushing, it's got to be a good thing. So all them things have severely helped me prolong my plastering career and stuff. But plastering injuries again, now we can talk about lungs, and we can talk about eyes. We can talk about the types of plaster you're going to use. Limes, K-rains, that stuff will burn hands. That will burn you to your bone, guys. That will make me tiny cuts 20 times bigger. Sand cement, it will do the same. It will make cuts bigger. I remember a mate of mine, Foxy, rubbing it in. Oh, it's going to heal up. He's boxing, his knuckles are all cut. He's rubbing the cement into his knuckles, going, it's going to heal it up really good. It's not, guys. It's going to burn it. It's going to make it worse. I couldn't believe he was saying this to me. A great guy, funny guy. And maybe he was being funny then too, I don't know. He doesn't plaster anymore. I think he's on to a better career. Probably smarter than me, really. But again, I just enjoy it so much that I can't give it up. This bone here, there's like a bit of a, it's a completely different shape than the other bone, and I don't know if that's been all the years of pushing, all the tons and tons of sand and cement. I had a guy ask me before, did I cut my trowel, did I round the edges of it? And no, I didn't, unfortunately I didn't. It's been from pushing sand and cement up the wall that created it the round and curve, guys. And that's metal, so that metal, I'm pushing that constantly, and this metal's getting razor sharp from all the grind and all the pushing. The edges are getting rounded off from all the cutting angles and constantly, troweling up and turning. So if that metal's wearing, surely my bones and ligaments are feeling it too. They're probably rubbing. Gold couldn't plaster anymore because his elbows were getting holes in them from plastering, so he's told stop plastering. Yeah, now he has gold elbows. Probably the most expensive part of them. Is I think they injected gold into the stop the bone rubbing against bone, because he was in severe pain. That's going back a while now. I haven't actually talked to him in a while. Hopefully it's still working good for him, and hopefully he's still doing the odd patch. I don't know. But yeah, I could go on all the time. Again, this is why PPI or PPE equipment is good. Glasses, guys. I got K-rain in my eye. That's completely a plaster related thing. And when I was scraping it off, 60 mile an hour winds, it was very, that's severely strong winds, guys. 60 mile an hour, that's like 100 and something, that's 100 kilometers an hour winds. That's strong. When I was on scaffold, and I was wearing glasses, and it still get in my eye, and it scratched the lens. Something now I'm going to have forever is a wee scratch lens. And it burnt the eye off me. So bad that when I get home, I was literally standing in the shower and my eye warm, cold, couldn't believe it. And my sister at the time, I think she drove me to the hospital and she hates driving. So she got me to the hospital and I got washed out. As soon as they get the stuff in, washed it, neutralised it. It was like a nice cold drink in the hottest warm day in my eye. That's how I can explain it, guys. It was like a thirsty man taking a drink of ice cold water. That's how my eye felt better. Again, then I had to go back. They put iodine in the eye and it went yellow so that they could look at it through lenses and see. And the nurse was looking at the start, she couldn't see it, and then a more senior doctor walked in and was like, "Can you not see that?" And said, "There's scratch in your eye." I think he said I'll be more inclined to have infections and stuff in the eye. And I do get gunky eyes, I get hay fever and stuff, which is not good. Again, guys, your lungs, we're breathing in dust. Should we all be running around masks? Absolutely. Do people think it's your first day if you're wearing a mask? They absolutely do. But please don't care what other people think, guys, because at the end of the day, it's your body. And what other people think, it can't affect you unless you let it affect you. So don't let it affect you. If you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. You want to wear glasses, wear glasses. Steel toe caps, I just unboxed a set. Guys, if you drop something on your toe, again, like I said, you break your toes, you're out for weeks. Or you're working with an injury, making it worse, making it probably a lifelong injury, a bit like myself. So your lungs, we've only got 2 lungs. There is silica and plaster. I love people keep saying silica. Silica is nearly in everything. It's literally in everything. So breathing in grains of dust of wood isn't good. Breathing in any particles, it's not good, guys. So you gotta, when you need to wear a mask, wear a mask. Tinnitus is not good. Ringing in the ears, I've had that. I don't want to go into that one. It's a crazy story. So I've had ringing in the ears. You don't want that. You don't want to be using Kangos for too long, or technically you shouldn't really be pushing trowels up a wall much more than an hour at a time. Take your breaks, guys. Look after your body. We've only got one. Don't know how long we've got it for either, so you want to keep it as long as possible. Nothing's guaranteed. So hopefully I don't even know what I'm answering anymore, bar I've went into a safety video of being safe, working heights, just be as safe as possible. Try and prolong your plastering career as long as possible. Hopefully I haven't put too many people off plastering. The young boys coming in, or girls as well. Sometimes see girls absolutely plastering walls and they're as good as some men, if not better. So ability is really, it's in here, what you believe you can do. So I think I've covered everything, guys. I have seen some horrible injuries. I've had some not so nice injuries as well. I've worked through them like an idiot. Again, sometimes my word, if I give somebody my word, I literally, that's it. It's as good as gold. My word is very, very strong. Trust me in that, guys. If I told you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'd nearly crawl through glass and fire to do it for you if I promise you something. So I think that's going to be it for this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope I haven't put anybody off plastering. Is it a dangerous job? Yes. Working on site, working on any trade is a dangerous job. Don't think people credit us tradesmen as much of what we're actually doing with our body to create something. It's very physical, and it will eventually, it will win. And hopefully us being older ones can show the younger ones the easiest ways, the better ways, what not to do, all the sensible things. Hopefully we're rubbing off, guys. And if you're an older man watching this and you have some younger men, look after them, look out for them, because again, will they listen? Probably not, but maybe after a wee while they will listen and they'll realise that guy was right, that man was right, and they'll listen. Like the advice I got was get off the stilts. And again, I'll probably not really take it, but I will try and be on them as little as possible. But they are handy. But then here's another question: has the fact that we don't trestle plank out of room and charge for that and charge higher for planks and charge, has that only saving the customer now? Whereas now we're buying our own stilts, but we've bought them, we're using them, and we're using them for free, and we're doing the ceiling for less than what really should be for the extra wear and tear that's, you're only going to plaster for so long. And again, the guys that are older say that they know loads of guys who just don't plaster anymore and stop when they're in their 50s. So, you gotta think about everything, guys, and I'm rambling on. So I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you're enjoying your work, and I want to hear from you in the comments.
What we do in life echoes in eternity.
Aww.